Welcome to XOs Football with another episode. After like a month hiatus, we are back. And today we are joined by Tosin. Welcome and thank you for joining us, man.
Yo, what's up, PSG Nation? Let's go.
Yep.
Already.
And of course, our everyday Abdul who just loves to do his thing. How are you,
What's up,
Abdul?
love? What's up, man? It's been ages. Good to be back.
So it's international break, so it's really boring as always.
Trash.
Yeah, I think we should just focus on club football, to be honest, just so we forget that this international football thing even exists.
I mean, can we talk about Europe? Because when I look at Europe, it's just a barren wasteland right now. There's no clear-cut best team. I mean, in Spain, it's a clown show between, you Madridistas and the Culés. Atleti, Real Sociedad, they look like they're coming up. Liverpool are going through a terrible injury crisis. City look constipated in
Unbelievable.
attack, like devoid of ideas. And honestly, yo, do y'all think like Germany is like the hub for modern football today? Just the approaches to the game, pressing actions.
All these German coaches are, I mean, you look at Klopp, Tuchel, Nagelsmann, and I'm probably missing a few more.
Flick,
Tudor,
Bose,
yeah,
Bose, is that how I say it?
Marco Rose at Mönchengladbach.
Rose, yeah, of Mönchengladbach. Bose, of Bayern
Peter Bosz.
Leverkusen.
Peter
No,
Bosz,
ex.
I used to call that dude Osama bin
Sarah.
Laden. Like, yo, that man is a terrorist. He be having like his high, like when he was at Dortmund, he would be playing like 60 meters away from goal.
He still does that. They
Yeah,
still do that
he's crazy.
consistently.
Going back to what Tosin said, though, I disagree. Like, Bayern are, I mean, obviously they're still getting lots of injuries as well. But
They're
if
the best
Bayern is
club right
fully
now, though.
fit, yeah, they're supposed to be the best team. Other than that, then it's
I think Bayern will continue to outscore most of their teams. I just think they have like systemic issues. And like once you lose Kimmich, like against Dortmund,
Yeah,
they don't
yeah, yeah.
have that.
That,
They don't have that quality, that freshness.
yeah,
I don't know.
obviously. But I mean, losing Kimi, it's like, for me, he's one of the best midfielders in the world. So obviously it's gonna be a hit, like either way. But I do agree with the fact that there are systematic issues. Like the game against Sevilla, I think would be like the perfect example. I don't think that Bayern were clear cut the superior side on that match at all over 120 minutes. They were quite even for the most part. And if I talk about spells, when the team is dominating, Sevilla had a better spell than Bayern.
I kind of disagree in a sense because I felt like Bayern had more technical quality. I just felt like Sevilla were able to match them in terms of the work on the
From,
pitch. Like,
from like 20th minute to 40, like it just felt like Sevilla are all over them. Something that I didn't see Bayern have an edge. You know what I mean?
yeah,
Throughout 120 minutes, yeah, obviously because Bayern has just more quality in players to begin with.
yeah, yeah.
So that is going
that,
to show. But I just felt that Sevilla did show that there are still weaknesses and holes on that team. Also, there's the fact that Barcelona gave them.
Barca was spreading them cheeks.
I think that the
Mhm.
game against Barcelona was a big change for Bayern in general. I don't think they were seen as the superior side before that match.
They're the best team in the world in terms of just mastering their style. Like I just think like the pillars of that team, Neuer, Kimmich, Lewa, Muller, they're just at this level where they're just like late in games, like their physical levels like is just much more superior to like the
they're averaging 4 goals a game. That's
yeah.
crazy.
Yeah,
3.9 goals a game.
3.8, something like this. Yeah.
3.9, yeah, that is crazy. When you look at that team, the problem is like they're so aggressive, just like Tosin said with their style. Like their number 10 on paper, right, is Muller, but that's really a guy that can beat you in the air. He'll run the channels, and then you have arguably on form the best striker in the world, in Lewandowski, arguably the best striker of his generation, and you have Muller off him, and then you have Gnabry, a guy that can. Like you have so many players that are capable of
Yeah.
scoring from unlikely positions as well. Like how
Yeah,
many
yeah,
times
yeah,
do
yeah.
Bayern score goals where like well that's what people really don't understand with Bayern. It's not just that they score a lot, it's that they score goals that the likelihood of that's not supposed to happen. Like that Leo header against Dortmund. That's just an amazing header, right? Like when you think about that, like how can you even blame Dortmund? Yeah, maybe the fullback can get a bit tighter, maybe the defender can be a step ahead, but ultimately that's just an amazing header. How many times does Gnabry score like an amazing long ranger? I mean, Bayern are just so big score lines. Bayern have given out over the last 12 months pretty much tell you what they are.
Yeah. They are well equipped to deal with everything.
But the weaknesses are clear. I think what Bayern they remind me of a time when Barca obviously used to dominate teams, right? But you always knew, and that's what Mourinho really like built his Real Madrid team towards, right? You always knew that Barca gave up big chances. Like they didn't give up maybe like 7 chances a game or 8 chances a game, but they're gonna give you 3 or 4 big chances, and that's what Bayern do as well. I mean, when
But
you look
it's
at
the
that,
number of players that push forward. That's the whole point. That's why they score so many goals, because they have so many players forward.
exactly. So they're gonna outscore you. And if
If you can't handle them, if you go goal for goal, yeah, they're gonna outscore you. That's for sure.
So to beat them, you're gonna have to hope you can suffer, you can get some luck, and the other way, you're gonna get 3 or 4 big chances. You have to be clinical. You have to score.
Yeah, I know a team that fits 2 of 3 criteria.
Look, man,
but the last one is not gonna happen.
They're a counter-pressing machine. And like I remember like Ralph Rangnick, I think he was the guy who was supposed to take the Milan position, but Pioli.
Yeah, Leipzig one.
Yeah, this dude like I think he said like 60% of goals scored worldwide are achieved like in the transition phase. Just a classic counter attack. So you just have to at this level you just have to be dynamic, precise. So for a team to beat Bayern, you have to almost have to match them physically, but also as Abdul said, you got to take your chances. But like the majority of goals, they're scored 12 seconds after winning the ball back. Between those like 8 to 12 seconds, like it's crucial. And with Bayern's high line, they give you that point just to exploit it.
Jurgen Klopp quote that always stuck with me. And I think he was asked about a funny goal that Liverpool conceded, something like that. Remember back in the days when they used to be a meme and celebrating wins?
Yeah. West Brom away.
Yeah, West Brom or whatever. And Jurgen Klopp just said one thing that really has stuck with me. There is never a player making a mistake. There are always 3 or 4.
Jurgen Klopp once said, like, there is no playmaker that's as good as a good counter-press situation. So this is what these dudes are about, man.
That is the point of a counter-press, right? You try to exploit that because not all players are switched on at all times. So the moment when you win the ball back and you're able to transition, you're going to score more goals because there are going to be more openings. And football is headed towards that again. I think for some time it was a lot more possession-based, play the team around, break their block. Now teams try to press higher, win the ball higher on the field rather than sitting in a more middle block. At the very least. Now it's all about final third to final third, if that makes any sense.
That's the thing, bro. That's football, right? Cycles. And I respect what's happening right now, but to be honest, it's not my favorite era right now. It's not my favorite brand of football or era, but there is going to be a time where it changes again. Yeah.
It's a transition because let's not forget, let's go from 2006 to 2010. Football wasn't all that great in terms of the way how it was played. I'm just taking it as example, right? Like Pep Guardiola and pre-Pep, few years pre-Pep. There was a downside, especially for Spanish teams, for example, like Real Madrid and Barcelona. They were suffering.
Yeah.
And
even Bayern were...
Yeah, Bayern was suffering too, and Milan was pretty much at their end, like Shevchenko was leaving. That's
usually where the Premier League fanboys come in and say, "Oh, that was our era."
And
the funny thing though is I don't even think the games during that era correct me if I'm wrong, but I don't think they were all that. Like Fergie would play 5 players in midfield. Like
Yeah.
Rafa Benitez wouldn't let, certain players. They were so tactically rigid. Like a lot of teams were around like that around that time, except
Look,
Arsenal.
Yeah,
So
football has evolved a lot tactically. It's become a lot harder to adjust, to set your team up in compared to like 12 to 13 years ago by this time. Like, as you said, like Fergie, right? He would do these things. Like, at one point, Cristiano Ronaldo was a right mid for
Yeah.
Manchester United. You know what I mean? It's
in
like,
2009, he was a striker, just a full-on
yeah,
striker. He just put him up top, said, "We'll just play off him." Like,
yeah.
ultimately, like that era can't be that amazing because, like ultimately, football is all about quality, right? And it's very, very rare when the best players in the world actually play in the Premier League. It's actually a fact. Like you just need to look at the Ballon d'Or winners. How many best players in the world actually played in the Premier League? Like all the legends. If you were to list your top 25, top 40, 50 players of all time, for example, the biggest superstars ever. I mean, honestly, in recent times, only Ronaldo.
Yeah, Ronaldo, yeah, you could say that.
Right? And for the most part, those are the players that, year in, year out win
well,
the Champions League.
I mean, yes
do you
and
guys
no.
you guys take Goal.com 50 serious? The Goal 50 serious? I mean, they had De Bruyne, the second best player in the world.
Yeah, I haven't.
I'll
I
pass.
don't check goal like at all ever.
I'll pass.
Hey man, that was a plug, man. Back in like 2008, 2007.
Yeah. I think everybody was there at one point. Point is that, Abdul made a point about the Premier League. In terms of marketing, like that is their strength. And that's where it's always going to be. Like they know how to market their teams. They know how to sell their brand of football, regardless if you think it's good or bad. Like even during when Spain was dominating football, there were many people just pushing for the fact that Premier League is the best league in the world.
Yeah, you had Sevilla like winning Europa League every year, Atleti
Like
derbies,
remember,
Madrid
okay,
derbies.
do you guys remember Marcelo Bielsa against Fergie? Athletic Bilbao, Manchester United,
Yeah.
Europa League,
Europa
yeah.
League
Europa,
final.
yeah.
The thing is, even about like when you talk marketing, okay, they're obviously by far they're experts at that, of course. But honestly, even if a league tries to match them in that sense, like Bundesliga tried very hard to market, right? But ultimately, just say the Premier League is in English, and that matters a lot. Like the fact that you can just turn on a club press conference and pretty much everyone on the planet can understand what he's saying in his press conference or in his pre and post match interview. That matters a lot when the best players in the league come out and give an interview and they're talking in English and everyone can just listen to it, relate to it, understand what they're saying. That matters a lot. So the Premier League being in English is a big deal. Obviously marketing, they're amazing at that, but
Yeah,
that's
obviously, it's a global
something that you
language.
can't. Yeah, that's something that you can't really match.
I appreciate all leagues generally. I just feel like from the marketing aspect, like as Abdul said, it's always gonna have that, like, have that as an advantage over the rest of the leagues. But I mean, just at least from like a football and quality aspect, like I think the English football has come leaps and bounds as compared to like seasons past. Like this season, I'm actually very impressed this season.
Yeah, this season has been nice.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
And I'll say this, like, Spanish football, historically, it's about technique, great emphasis on technical quality. German football, it's about, movement, team spirit, being efficient. Italian football, dogged defending. But it's actually been way different recently. Serie A is way different recently.
Yeah,
actually.
it's
We
averaging
should thank
4 goals a game.
Gasperini for that.
Yeah. And then, that French football, which I like, well, that's the one that actually struggles to create an identity because it's more so about individuals and teams. And last but not least, English football, just high intensity, back and forth. So, and as we said, like the teams are more tactically evolved as compared to before. Like look at Aston Villa. Look how they slapped up Liverpool. Like
That was nasty.
Look how they beat Arsenal at the Emirates. These were dominant performances.
Yeah. They were like, I deserve to win this. Not just I'm coming here and I just scrapped a win. I beat you.
Leicester, Southampton, Yeah, like
Klopp, Pep, whatever. Like all these coaches are coming in from different philosophies, different schools,
Yeah,
and
but that's what makes it like, as Tosin said, of what it is, because it's a cultural thing. It's all the cultures in one. Point is that it's weird how probably three of the best teams on a league have three of the worst coaches. Like I'm talking about Lampard, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and Arteta.
yo, the worst of the three is Arteta, G. Like,
I,
yo, don't talk to me about Arteta. Yo, Arteta is looking like, yo,
but I'm gonna give him the
Emery,
benefit
yo,
of the doubt though, because he has the
what do you guys think
least
about
experience.
Is he better than Emery?
I don't think. Nah, I don't think he is.
He is. I don't think he is. I
I mean,
genuinely do not think he
Emery
is.
is not the worst coach in the world, but
yeah,
The
I
problem
think
with Emery is a football junkie. I'll say this. I'll tell you that now as a PSG fan.
can I ask you a question? Because obviously these are like two prior coaches.
Okay.
Laurent Blanc or Unai Emery? Which one did you like better?
First of all, I'll say neither. But what I'll tell you is this: Laurent Blanc he's the guy who imposes himself. He can command a locker room based on his playing career. He's a World Cup winner.
Yeah,
you know?
yeah.
First minute he walked into the PSG dressing room, I think it was in 2013, he said, "Which one of you here has a World Cup medal?" Like no one responded. He said, "All right, yeah, y'all gotta shut the fuck up and listen to me." Like
Yeah. A
but the
manager being able to impose power, yeah, that's a good thing.
But the tactical work, handing out instructions to the players, that was more so done by like his assistant Jean-Louis Gasset, who was like I think he's a manager right now in Ligue 1. I think he's the manager for Saint Etienne. No, not Saint Etienne. That's Claude Poul. Sheesh, I forget. But yeah, like he was the one who did most of like the tactical work for Blanc. And then you had Unai Emery. Unai Emery just could not impose himself. Like everyone was making fun of him in the locker room. But he had ideas. His first idea was to implement a 4-2-3-1 system, high press, high energy, but then you don't have the players for that. So he brings Krakowiak with him from Sevilla. That was pretty awful. And like, the players just don't fit with him, stylistically.
Yeah. But he's always done that. It's been part of Emery forever. He always has had ideas how he wants to play, but he never seemed to have the profiles for the football that he wanted to do. Like even at Sevilla, like the year when he won the Europa League, I don't think people know that or put enough emphasis on the fact that he didn't win an away game at all in La Liga that season.
Yeah, that's true.
Exactly.
It's like sometimes he overthinks stuff. Like, for example, Barcelona. Like their opening game, I think, of the season was Barcelona this season, right?
Yeah.
They've rebounded.
That was shambolic from Emery.
Yeah.
Like, that was awful. And it gave people, like, this idea that Barcelona are here to cruise it. The season they won Europa League, Real Madrid slapped them 7-3 after losing to Barcelona 3 days prior.
Yeah.
Do you remember that? It was like Bale, Benzema, and Ronaldo scoring those goals.
Emery can't set up defense. Like he can't set up a team to the off ball.
But I just find it weird because people see him as defensive coach. Like with many people that you talk about, Emery is described as defensive coach.
He became more cautious when he came to PSG. That's what I'll say. But I think initially, like when he went to Arsenal, he started acting like he was some savant. Like he would play 4 at the back, then he'd play 3 at the back. Then he would play he would be playing out of the back with profiles that are not fit to play out from the back, like Rob Holding and stuff. Like you can't do that at this level. At the end of the day, what I will give him credit for is, I mean, he did help with like the young players. He helped bring, young players through. Like with PSG, he helped bring some young players through. At Arsenal, he helped bring, guys like Guendouzi, Willock, all those guys, like, they're decent players. But under Arteta, it's way different now. Like they're just stuck to one rigid system, and I don't know. Like
I think they kind of fall into the same mold because even Arteta is trying to do stuff that his players just cannot do, especially offensively. I think setting a team up offensively is a lot harder than defensively because defending it's more about player awareness, how they read the space. Because it doesn't matter how tactically good you are to set up a team, you can't predict as a coach where the ball is going to come consistently. So it comes to players to react to those. And I think it's easier when the setup is more defensive and you have more players defending.
I think Allegri, he had like this thesis that he dropped when he went to the university in Italy, and he talked about how like the easiest thing to do when you have a team is to set up defensively 4-4-2. And you see that this season, all the teams are playing 4-4-2. Liverpool.
Yeah,
like,
Real Madrid has done that for a long
like
time.
we do that.
Like
We've been
since
doing
Ancelotti.
that. You know?
Since Ancelotti, Real Madrid has done that.
Yeah.
Always 4-4-2.
Barcelona, even when Barcelona won the treble in 2015, it was Neymar in that front three coming back all the way into
Left mid, then Rakitic was right mid. Yeah.
Messi, Suarez up top, and then they would just defend. Like that's how you defend at this level.
Yeah,
and it's basic for the players. The instructions are basic. They're easy to understand. But yeah, as you said, setting them up offensively, I don't know. Like you look at managers like Tuchel, Mourinho, and like they don't coach their players to have like automations, you know what I mean?
Zidane too. Zidane
obviously. They don't do that. Like they want to handle the first 2/3, and then in the final 30 meters of the pitch, like just what
you have a freedom. You have a freedom to do what you think is the best for the attack.
But I'll tell you what,
that's how they go.
I mean, Pep does coach automations, but Pep says my job as a coach is to coach you in the first 2 phases, and in the final third, it's your job, right? But I don't know. When I watch City, that's not the case. I see a lot of automation.
It's not the case because City are too robotic. Like I have learned their match on my head. I just know their moves. Like especially last season, you just knew what they were going to do. You just knew, but sometimes they are just way too good at doing it. Like
they had that those technical fundamentals that just enabled them to beat all these.
Exactly. Even if you knew what was coming, you still couldn't deal with it, and that's how Manchester City became so overwhelming offensively. I don't think they are that way this season. At least numbers don't show it. Number of goals don't show it. They are being more cautious with the way how they're playing.
You think they're preserving energy for the second half of the season? That's what someone...
It could be, but I just think that Pep is kind of tired of consistently losing on the same fashion. You know? It's all about having a lot of players forward and getting caught in transition. A lot of players forward and getting caught in transition. That was City's mold, and you both watched the game against Liverpool. Why it was so boring? Liverpool refused to do anything because they were set up to hit City in transition. And City refused to change their shape because they were afraid of getting caught in transition. So we got both teams just sitting there in confusion. None of the managers was doing anything.
I feel Liverpool's game plan was to slap them up early, first 25 minutes.
Yeah, and then sit back and just try to
sit back and
Mane, Salah.
But like they played four attacking players, and
is
they were high. Is
Firmino even a player? Do you count Firmino as a player?
and guys, I think a minute into the game, Liverpool had a big chance, right? So really, if Pep set up in the manner that Klopp, usually would assume that Pep would set up, it would have worked 100%. If Pep committed lots of numbers forward and City tried to play their usual game, it would have 100% worked with that front four in transition.
But I just think that City would be too overwhelming for Liverpool defensively. Like City would outscore them.
No, especially with how many chances Jesus misses, Sterling. They're not.
But Ruben Dias.
They're just not.
Is that how you say his name? Ruben Dias, their new center back.
He's good.
He's really good. Really good. I actually like watching him play.
He's better than Laporte.
Yeah, for sure. 100%. Like because I've seen Laporte a lot in La Liga, right? I never rated him that highly because I watched him like a lot, and I was like, yeah, he's good, but I don't think he's as special as he's being made. Like even when he was playing at La Liga, there was a lot of noise about Laporte.
he just doesn't have those intangibles to be a
Well,
lead center back. Like
Yeah,
Diaz, you see it.
Yeah,
I
Diaz
see
is like more of a leader. He can grab the defense and he can organize it to begin with. I really liked how he performed against City, despite
Yeah,
being
like that,
beaten
that
by
one time
Mane on that occasion.
When Mane skinned him on that occasion, he still recovered.
Yeah,
You know,
yeah,
some
exactly.
but that's the thing about him though. Like he seems to do the basics really well, and he knows his limitations. So if you noticed, he's a bit stiff and a
Yeah,
bit
he's a
slow.
bit stiff.
Like
Yeah, for sure.
yeah, but if you noticed, I've watched him a lot this season, and like he never even puts himself into that to positions where that gets exposed. Like that time when he got skinned, that was the first time I've seen him get skinned this season, and I've watched a bit of City, you know. So he just knows his limitations, and like
And
when you look at
that's the
his
good thing.
limitations, when you look at his limitations, like he shouldn't be able to play in a high line that well, right? Given his limitations, but he does. Why? Because he's just smart. He's always a step ahead.
But
He
that was
smells
the thing
danger.
with Fernandinho too. Like when you watched Fernandinho before Pep, I didn't think he was anything spectacular, good, but he just knew what he can and what he cannot do. So therefore, he was able to pretty much shield his weaknesses and just play to his strength. Something that Casemiro, for example, doesn't do.
Right.
I'm just taking as example because how many times do you see Casemiro just trying to be like a Xavi or a Tony Cruz or something like that?
Yeah.
How many times do you see him
you want to
trying
know
to
what
do
it
that?
is? You want to know what it is? The Xavi interviews be getting to him. The Xavi quotes because Xavi.
Oh yeah.
They've asked
Yeah.
Xavi about
No, I've
Casemiro.
never.
I think Xavi said like Casemiro he has the physical qualities. He'll win a lot of balls. He'll recover a lot of balls, but like space and time, he has no awareness. He has no ability in terms of space and time
It's
on the
true.
pitch.
It's true.
Yeah, it's true, but I also think
And then
that
Casemiro, that shit hurt him because he responded to it and he's like, I've won 3 Champions Leagues. So, but I can tell like shit like that definitely gets to players, man.
yeah,
Like
obviously it gets because I mean nobody wants to. At least I think that there is a limitation for them. You know what I mean? Like they want to be the best at everything. Sometimes it
Yeah,
doesn't work like that, but
yeah.
players, for the most part, don't seem to get it. Like they just want to do stuff that they're just not able to do. Players have to start trying to create an identity for themselves rather than trying to be somebody else. I think that's very important.
one
Like
thing I'll say about Casemiro though is like his biggest problem is he's
his
slow.
brain.
He's slow in the head, right? So he's slow in the head. His decision making is very slow, and when you combine that with last season, Casemiro his deficiencies off on the ball weren't as exposed because first of all we were more pragmatic. Also, he knew like he just kept it more. He kept it simple, right? He kept it simple, and we were more pragmatic, so he was more comfortable, and
But Real
obviously he had a
Madrid
great season.
can't play that way this season.
Well, exactly. So this season, he's already tired. So the problem with him is even at his best, he's slow in the head. When you add slow legs to a slow head, it becomes a disaster. It becomes a disaster. Like right now, he doesn't even try to do the basics. He's trying to first time teams press him with his back to goal and he tries to first time a ping across the pitch, a ball in behind, something that he's just not capable of.
You know what's the
And
thing?
that
Uh,
combination just the team.
remember that? I think it was Shakhtar match when he tried that long shot.
That's what honestly that is just
That
bad.
described Casemiro's season so far, I think.
But you know what I think though? I think that's fatigue. Seriously, I think that's when you're so tired that your decision making is literally non-existent.
Yeah. I say this like when your body is tired, your mind goes with it, and it happens to him. It has happened to Ramos as well throughout last season. I
Last
think
season.
people forget that it happened with him in like 2 occasions. Like for me, at least, Cristiano Ronaldo should not be in conversation of being a top 10 footballer. Should not. Like I watch
I
him
agree.
play.
No,
Like
but
I
I
watch
agree.
him play. He should not be. But he scores goals. He's still an efficient footballer. So he forces you to have him into that conversation.
but that's what football is all about nowadays. I mean, half these players that are called the best players in the world are just the best players in the world based off numbers and efficiency. In any other era, their skill set would be laughed at if you called them top 5 or top 10. Seriously, like there are lots of players nowadays that their
Man, we
skill
need to
set
name
is
names.
nothing
We need to
special.
name names. We need to name names, man. Like that's what y'all need to name names. Like, come on. Like I need to hear
Right,
these names.
yo, come on. I don't want to. I
That's
don't
why
want
I'm
beef.
here, dude.
I don't want
Come on.
beef.
This is y'all's podcast. Come on. This is what we're here for. Come on. Like, who?
Yo, I told you
First of all,
probably half.
Ronaldo, I agree on Ronaldo. Ronaldo,
But
I knew
Ronaldo's Ronaldo. Come on, like it's
but see,
Ronaldo.
he's gonna score goals. But I knew Ronaldo in terms of just being a presence on the pitch, apart from the odd tap in or the odd header. I thought he was finished the moment I saw Juan Fran outpace him.
Yeah, I remember that.
Like, come
Yeah.
on, like it's just since then I was like, yeah, Ronaldo is no more. But like 2014, but that's the thing with Ronaldo. After age 30, it's another career. It's a whole other career.
Yeah,
Like after he turned 30,
turned the
it's
page.
a whole other. Yeah, it's like what he's done is just more about being decisive in the big games. And I mean,
Obviously. But there's this question that Madridistas still have. Would you take Ronaldo back? Especially now after his interview about, oh, I love Real Madrid so much, blah, blah, blah. Yeah, you're doing it for PR.
you would have to bin Benzema.
It's not only that. I wouldn't bin Benzema for Ronaldo. Like I'm saying it right now. I
Because
would never do that.
because you really
Bro,
want
you're
Ronaldo
too-
on that left wing. You really want
No,
Ronaldo on that left wing.
I don't
again?
want Ronaldo at Real
Over-
Madrid. That's the point.
over
I don't
Vinny?
want Ronaldo at Real Madrid.
Of course, I would rather have Ronaldo over Vinny on that left wing. Yeah.
Yeah,
I would-
over Vini, yes. But the thing is that I don't want Ronaldo at Real Madrid.
Look,
It was
you can talk X's and O's. You can talk X's and O's, and try
exactly
to
what the
just
podcast
break
is called,
everything
yeah.
down. Yeah, oh shit, yeah, that's true. But you can talk all X's and O's and all that stuff, right? And overcomplicate things. But ultimately, you have a team that struggles to score goals.
Yes,
struggles
I
to
get
score
that.
even 2 goals a game, and you have arguably the best goal scorer in the world.
The reason, no,
But the
because
thing is,
you guys aren't selling from it. The reason why you guys are shit right now is just one reason, and I don't care. I'm not gonna overanalyze either. Hazard.
Okay,
up?
I was about to say that.
Hazard. Like if Hazard is playing consistent football, forget goals, forget assists. If he's playing consistent football week in, week out, Madrid will be fine.
Okay,
Like,
let me just say
they would be
this.
fine. Like,
Hazard's
fine.
sample is a bit small, right? It's a bit small. It's like 21 to 22 games, right? Real Madrid averages 3 goals per 90 minutes with him. But without him, it goes down to 1.6.
still
gotta
though,
keep-
that's I mean, but still, like, yeah, in terms of like the gravity he has on the pitch, like in
Things that he does, movement. He's smart.
Movement.
He's a great footballer. You don't have to. This is what I keep pushing. For as long as Real Madrid doesn't have a reliable goal scorer, the whole team has to chip in, right? It just has to.
yeah.
And for that to happen, you need a player like Hazard to allow the play to make it happen. Because the moment when the midfielders, like when Hazard is taken off for Real Madrid, the midfielders play further back. Real Madrid is more pragmatic without him to begin with. So when he plays, Real Madrid has more players forward. Therefore, they create much more chances, even if he isn't directly involved into them. And that is what matters for now.
Yeah.
Real
I
Madrid
think-
just has to push through that.
And when you define fine, Abdul, like when you asked me to define fine, I mean, it's just like look at like you won the league last season, right? With Benzema. Like it was pretty much a Benzema carry job. Like
Yeah. And
Offense.
that's
Yeah.
how it's gonna be this season too. In
and
terms of who's scoring the
I'm
most.
just saying like if
goals
Hazard was pulling his weight along with Benzema, I mean you would definitely still be, at the top of La Liga, and in the Champions League it's anybody's game. Like this is the most open Champions League ever. Like it's anyone.
Abdul.
So at that
One
point.
thing I'd say, one thing I'd say about Hazard, and it's like one of the most underrated qualities in football in general, like with the top attackers, is sometimes like the best thing about Hazard, especially like what he adds to Real Madrid, is he's able to keep the ball alive in the final third. Like he's able to sustain pressure in the final third. Sometimes the best thing you can do in the final third is nothing.
Recycle the
Like
ball.
just pause, just recycle the ball, make the right pass. And that's what Hazard adds. When you give the ball to Vinny, he's gonna take the ball, he's gonna go 1v1, lose the ball, that's it. And then the attack is gone.
Can I ask you something?
Or he can't even play the simple passes. Sometimes it's the best decision, the best way to progress is no progress. To just keep the ball alive in that area, and danger will eventually, happen.
Yeah. I want to ask you both one thing. Real Madrid lost 4-1 to Valencia last match. If Hazard played that game, Do you think that result happens?
I didn't
I
watch
don't
the
know.
game, so I wouldn't
It
know.
was a crazy game. I don't know, but like the yeah, I don't know, but obviously we would be better though, given Vinny's performance. Vinny
No, no,
did
no,
not.
no, 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 no. It's not just Vini, right? It's about team overall. Because what I've seen this season, at least, is that our players trust Hazard a lot more than they did last season, with the ball at least.
Bro, he's
You
played
sure
like
that ain't
he
voices in
he
your
he
head?
he played a game. He literally played half. He played what 2 hours? How
So,
can you tell?
but it doesn't matter. It's a fact, just like how they don't trust Martin Odegaard. Like how many times Odegaard is getting bypassed on a match when there's a clean ball for him. It's
Bro, Odegaard has played 2 hours as well. I don't think you
it
can come.
doesn't
I don't
matter.
think you can make conclusions.
It doesn't
I don't
matter.
think.
It's all about the fact that how much faith does the player have in you
No,
to pass
I'm
you the
not.
ball.
I'm not disagreeing with you about Hazard improving the team. Obviously, he improved the team.
No, no,
And
it's
the
not about
stats you
just the
just
team, right?
mentioned,
It's about
the
the
stats
fact
you
that
just,
there is more faith in him than it was last season.
I never felt like players are ignoring him last season, so I can't agree with you there. Like I don't
Like
see the
like
players.
it happened many times. Like even his touches per game were like all-time low.
Why can't you? Why maybe it was on him because he wasn't fully sharp, but I don't think it was the players not trusting him. I don't.
I think there was confidence issue. I genuinely think that this season the ball has been whenever players have been under pressure, they have released the ball to him, and they've been like, okay, he can actually get us out of this position. Last season that wasn't the case.
Yeah, well, when I look at Madrid, man, like even with Hazard, like,
It's
look,
not perfect.
it's a long season. It's a long season. Let's see what he does. But like, just defensively, you guys look worse. Like, opponents are taking way more shots now against you guys. You're allowing more passes into your penalty area. I mean, you don't press as much, and that's even with, you know, having all those aging legs, man. Like, I look at transfer market. They say the average age of your squad is 28. I
Yeah,
mean, that's not.
28.
And it's you have a bunch of kids as filler there. So really, it's the players that matter.
You
It's
don't
not
have that many kids though. How many
no
kids you have?
Vinny,
Two?
Vinny Rodrigo.
That's it.
Well,
That's it.
Mayoral, does the Mayoral left, right? Okay, wait.
Mayoral left, yeah.
no,
Mayoral is like 23 now.
Odegaard.
Odegaard is 22.
yeah, but going back to the Hazard thing, Hazard obviously improved the team offensively. But the problem is like
No, he's
the
supposed to be
problem with
enough.
us.
He's supposed to be enough. He's supposed
Yeah,
to be the guy that
For this
carries
season though.
the team.
but the
At
problem
least
is
I
we're like
hope they are thinking
we,
about he's enough for this season.
we've regressed obviously off ball when you compare it to last season, and yeah, I'm starting to think like okay, like if we're gonna defend well, do we have to play a more compact, like pragmatic game like last season every other week, or can Zidane actually like instill a proper pressing?
Problem is
Uh,
consistency, right? When your players are weekly getting injured, it's very hard to get a rhythm.
Yeah, honestly, that's the story for all the clubs in Europe right now.
Yeah, exactly. Like
You
no
know,
team is at
yeah.
like perfect shape.
Like look at Barca. Like Barca averaging like 1.6 points per game in the league. They're terrible. They have all these like,
I know this
political
sounds
cracks at the
weird.
club, but I
I know
mean,
this might sound weird, but I actually kind of like what Koeman is trying to do there.
same, yeah. I think he actually has an idea
Yeah,
in the
he has
sense.
ideas of what his team wants to do. At least I appreciate. I think I can appreciate that on a coach. I
yeah,
didn't see that with
it's a
Setien,
Dutch
for
it's a
example.
Dutch style type of control football. Like their possession is way less from last season.
Yeah, but they are attacking more in moments rather
They're
than
more
what they were
vertical. They're
doing.
more
Yeah,
vertical.
They're
rather
more
than
vertical.
you
Yeah.
remember what they were doing with Setien, right? It
But
was
that's the
just
thing. That's the thing with Barca though. Just because you're more vertical now in a team, because football in general is more vertical. Okay, back in the day, like Claude Puel said it once in an interview, like the difference between football now and then is back then we just said the attackers can rest. Now we make them work. You know.
Exactly.
And now, like you, you look at Barca, they're just one team that's trying to do what everyone else is doing, but they're not as good as the others. And what's their ceiling at that? How good are they going to be with that system?
The
Who
squad
knows?
overall is bad, I would say. Like
I think the
squad
squad.
players.
I think attacking personnel. I think that's as good as any in Europe.
Not really,
personnel.
because it's a declining Griezmann, like heavy declining Griezmann.
Man,
It,
Griezmann, did you see Griezmann yesterday? Come on, he's not done.
yeah,
He's
he
not
was
done.
good last night. I
He's not
give him
done.
that. He was good last night. I just don't see Griezmann, Messi ever working, and
Fati's
That's
injury
fair.
is
That's
the
fair. Oh, yeah,
Fati has a bad
Okay.
injury, right?
Yeah, but like all healthy, that's a very good. Like they have
they're
a
just
lot
missing
of.
a number 9. When everyone's
Yeah,
healthy,
but they need a number 9, and they're not linked to a number 9, and they let go of a number 9.
Yo,
You know what I mean?
it's so funny. This Braithwaite is still a thing.
Yeah, exactly, right? That is where my mind went. Like,
But he's
if,
actually useful.
if they want a 9,
Hey,
it's just
He's
Braithwaite.
decent. He's decent.
He's
I mean,
useful. He's a useful player. He's not. I've seen much worse.
He's a squad player, right?
yeah.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
Barca cannot rely
No, but
on
he
him.
got the number 9. My man got the number 9 kid.
Yeah, he's flexing it.
But yeah,
the-
Fati's injury is obviously huge, and but that's the thing. Like after the Alaves draw, everyone was like, "Oh, Coleman, what a Coleman fucked up the Classical big time, obviously, especially with the
Yo, Coleman.
with the in-game
That's
management."
gonna be a
But-
theme with them.
Yo,
But
I
that-
cannot stop laughing. The last 15 minutes of that game still has me crying, bro.
Yo, it's
Like,
so funny.
he had
I can't-
Coutinho collecting the ball from the center backs. Like that was just.
And so Coleman, after the Alaves game, Barca literally created like 5 million chances in the Juve, like in back-to-back games, the Juve and Alaves. Barca created like 5. Barca could have beaten Juve like 4 or 5-0, right?
But they didn't.
But yeah, but that's my point. Like, how can you blame the coach when the team creates that many chances?
I mean,
And then-
Hey,
did
don't
you watch
forget
the game
about
against Betis?
don't forget about the statistical non-events in that game. Like if Morata times his runs better or times his like finishes better, I mean,
If Morata
Juve
has
scored-
a brain, Morata
but
has
who
a
was the
brain,
better?
yeah.
Who was the better team though? Barca.
No,
was
Barca was better. Barca
Barca
deserved to
better.
win.
I just don't feel like they have that grip on the game. Like they're very vulnerable to me.
Yeah,
Because-
and also the thing is that Juventus are really bad. Like, I
Yeah.
don't think Abdul is saying that, but Juventus are awful.
I agree, but that's normal though. Like when you look at how Barca are playing, when you're playing like that, right? And then you're in transition, your transition phase when you're defending, you have Busquets or Pjanic that are pretty much grandparents covering that space with Piqué at his age and Lonzo
But
who's not. Really
but it's on the coach to set it up differently.
Yeah, but ultimately, it's no. That's how he wants to play though. Ultimately, that's
But
how
if
he
you
wants
want to
and
play,
he's gonna
you
live-
can't play like that. You know what I mean?
Okay,
Like,
he's
we
gonna-
talked
he
that
can-
about Emery too. Like, you
Bro,
can't
he
play
can't.
that type of football with Busquets.
Okay, but what is he? The thing is, he has a style and he wants to play. Ultimately, that squad is not great. It's not his fault, right? He didn't get any relevant signings. He has an aging squad, and it's not like he can find the perfect playing style for them. Anyways, there is clear gaping holes, right? So it's not. He just has an idea, and he's gonna live and die by it. I respect.
Look.
I didn't understand.
I said that I like what he's doing, right? I like that he at least has come with a plan. That doesn't mean that he's executing it well, because he's not. Like, Betis could have won that last game just as easily as Barca won it.
Yeah, that's what I'm telling you. Barca will never. Do you think it's possible for this Barca squad to be dominant in general, to be a dominant team?
Not
No.
dominant, but they can definitely be more compact.
Okay, but like
Like,
bro,
players
it's-
shouldn't be
he-
all over the place consistently. That's on the
He try-
coach.
he tries to balance that with the fullbacks not overcommitting as much, especially Roberto.
Roberto is playing third center back, not a new
Exactly.
thing for Barcelona.
But like it's just I don't like
Like,
after that this game
look,
with Barca
he
drew,
plays.
he got so much slander. He got so much slander in a game where Barca should have just simply won. And Piqué and who was it? Neto, right? They gifted them a goal, and Barca had so much. Like, how can you blame the coach after a game like that? I don't get it.
I mean, they couldn't break them down to save their lives.
That's not true. They had so many big chances.
Yeah, after Alaves
Which game
got
are
a
you
red
talking
card.
about? Which game?
Alaves.
The Alaves Barca game. Barca
Yeah,
literally
but
had
after they
at
were
least 10 big chances.
But yeah, after Alaves got a red card.
No, even before that, Barca were getting good
Not
chances.
really. Barca
Just they
wasn't
don't
the
have
better
enough
team that
time.
game. Like, no
Barca
way
just
Barca
missed.
was a better team that game. Like,
They were.
Alaves was cutting through them just easy, like playing a Segunda team.
I don't know. If Barca, I
Like, it
don't know. If
was
Barca
very
were one of the
easy. I,
better
I
teams that
forgot
game.
the name. I
I don't
forgot
know
the
what
name
to
of the
say
right
about.
winger. But
Then I
he
don't know
was
what to
just
say about
showing
Real
Alba.
Madrid this season. If Alaves were the better team in that game, then I think Real Madrid were the inferior team in every game this season. Then
Not really. Nah.
I mean, pretty even the Huesca game. I mean, Madrid really did nothing until Hazard scored that goal.
Not really. We were still on top of on that game.
On top of what, bro? Passing the ball around with no
But
intention,
it
not a
doesn't matter. You are
against the
still more
4-4-2.
you are still compact. You're
When
still
you're
limiting them
when
on
you're
doing
playing
any
a when
damage.
you're playing a team like Huesca with no quality, playing a 4-4-2 and just they're playing as compact as they can in a deep block, and you're keeping the ball and doing nothing with it. That's not impressive, and that's not being dominant.
Nobody's saying
When you
that we
do
were
that,
impressive. Point is that Real Madrid was compact. Real Madrid didn't lose shape. Barca against Alaves, like that was childish. Like obviously he's gonna get blamed for that, and he deserves to be blamed because he saw the problem and he still didn't do anything about it. Like for 45 minutes straight, Alba was getting abused, and he was doing nothing about it.
isn't
I mean,
what
yeah,
sorry.
I mean that's the thing with coaches. Some have good approaches to games. I
Like
haven't seen anything from Coleman where he looks like he can manipulate a game. Like, wow,
exactly, and
I
there
haven't
is
seen
also
any.
It's
a
horrible.
theme with Coleman.
And that's
Let
the
me
difference.
just finish it here.
That's the difference between great coaches and elite coaches, man.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I was talking about it with Abdul. Same thing with Conte. Like Conte has great approaches to games. Like Inter have been the unluckiest team in Europe this season. Like like I looked up the numbers. Like they have been actually like
They're
very
good, but they
unlucky.
are robotic.
Yeah, they're robotic, but like at the end of the day, like some of those players can still play with some personality. Like Barella. You still have
Brozovic. Yeah, Brozovic.
Brozovic. De Vrij is very good. Bastoni's coming up. Like I mean,
Yeah,
they
yeah, yeah.
have Lautaro, and Lukaku. Lukaku's been amazing. Lautaro just needs to like I don't know. He's been
I don't rate Lautaro. Abdul knows that. I don't think that highly of him.
No, he's a very good player.
He is a good
He just
player,
needs to find consistency. That's it.
but tell me one thing, right? Would any team in the world but Barcelona be willing to pay 100 million for him?
Wait, how is
depends
the fact that
depends.
he's not worth 100 million? How does that make him not like not that good? Like he's still a very good player. He's worth
But
80 million.
when you buy a player, you're always gonna have this conversation. How much was he brought in, and how much are you expecting out
Yeah,
of
but
him?
why are you acting like someone paid 100 million for him? No one paid
But
100 million for him.
Inter is asking for that, so obviously he's being rated to that.
But there's lots of players around the world that their teams are asking for like 100 million, and they're not worth that. That doesn't make them bad players,
No, 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 no,
or
no, no, no.
even
My
or
my
even
point is
average
that
players.
Lautaro Martinez is held as like one of the best strikers in the world. Like that is how people describe him. I don't think he is. He's
No, I
far
don't
from it.
see that. I actually don't see that. Maybe like last year, I think people took it too
Like
far. But
tell me
right
one
now,
thing.
I don't
Is he
see
better
him.
than Luis Suarez? Tell me this.
Now he
Right
is.
now
Now he
in this
is.
football, yeah, he is. Yeah,
He is better
in
than Suarez.
2020, he is. Yeah,
He is. He
but
is.
Like last season to this season. You guys actually believe
I
that he's
would
better than Suarez?
as a coach in 2020, I'd rather have Lautaro than Suarez. Yeah.
Yeah.
Depends
And
on
like
the team.
last season, like come on, like him and Lautaro, they were cooking, man. Like first half of the season, both of them were scoring a lot away from home. Like at the
And he's
start,
only, by the way,
Champions League.
Lautaro just turned 23.
Yeah,
Just turned 23. And I see the like he can shoot he can hit it with his left foot, he can hit it with his right foot.
Yeah.
He's good in the air. He's a dog, he can press. He can look at that thing in the Madrid game, for example. He started off the game so bad against Ramos.
So
Like
bad, but then
first 15 minutes Ramos dominated him. Literally, he couldn't keep the ball alive at all. But then he's a dog. He has that South American dog in him, right? He stayed in the
yeah,
game. He was able to get an assist and a goal. He was able to get involved. He got better. He's just a dog, you know. He's in that from that Cavani kind of school, you know. He has that dog in him. He's just a very good player. You know why Lucante says this about him? Because Lucante looks at him as like he wants him to get on the end on the end of as many chances as possible, like Holland, and score like 40 goals. He's not that type of number 9. He's not gonna score 40 goals, but he's the type of player that can give you 20, 25 goals. He's good on the ball. He's good at
20 to 25 from Lautaro. I
Yeah.
would never expect of that. I don't think he's ever gonna give you that unless he grows as a player.
He already did didn't he score like 17 last season?
Yeah, bro. Like he's versatile enough to drift wide, act as a second striker.
I just don't
he's
think
strong,
he
can hold
he
it up.
doesn't take enough shots in a game to give it that amount of goals. That is my whole point. When I look at him,
Depends on the service, though. If you're playing with
no. But I mean, he's playing off Lukaku, right? He's playing off Lukaku. So obviously, I expect Lukaku to be the guy who takes the most shots at the end of the most chances. I know that. But I see Lautaro as Griezmann was for Atleti, right? Playing off a striker's shoulder, dominating the final third. He's the main player on the final third. He's supposed to be that, right?
Yeah, but the thing is, like, he's more aggressive 1v1.
Yeah. But in no metric,
he's not like a pass and move player like.
Yeah. But in no metric at all does Lautaro Martinez stand out. He's average on everything, like a bit an all-rounder on everything.
What metric? Like, what metrics do you mean?
Like enough shots, expected goals, expected assists.
Yeah, his expected goals this season has been really bad. It's been poor. But
it's not this season. Last season it was too. He was
but like
since
quarantine, since the end of quarantine, like I think it was after the break, basically. Like
but that happens. That's just a dip, right? But when I look at a player his age, right, Gabriel Jesus, for example, I see Jesus as an all-rounder too. I think he can do a lot of stuff, and Jesus is more efficient at everything.
Jesus is not a more efficient goal scorer.
At everything, everything. Getting at the end of chances, scoring more goals.
Lautaro at his peak is going to be an amazing finisher, by the way, because he has the skill for it. He has the shooting technique. It's just a matter of time until it's clear that it's a matter of time.
It doesn't matter how good a finisher he is when he's taking like 1.98 shots per game or something like this, or 2.1. That's not enough.
You said you don't think he can score 20, 25 goals.
Yeah, because it doesn't generate enough shots per game.
No, I think he can generate enough shots per game.
Well, the thing is that 3 seasons now. I'm not talking about something that is hypothetical.
He can shoot with his left foot. He can shoot with his right foot. He can head the ball. Like, I don't see why he can't score goals.
Well, he should shoot then.
He's literally 20, bro. He came to Europe at
3 years ago.
He just turned 23. I don't know. Like, you want him to be scoring 40 goals? I don't get it.
I don't want him to be scoring 40 goals, but I want him to be efficient.
And you said he's average at everything. He's not, bro. You described him in a very disrespectful manner, by the way. You said he's average at everything. That's not true. He's good at everything. He's not great.
Okay.
He's not exceptional.
You can say he's good. Yeah, he's good at everything.
He's average at everything.
I take it back. His numbers are average, but when you watch him, yeah, he's good at everything. Yeah, I can say that. But I don't think that his ceiling is as high as somebody like Gabriel Jesus can be, or let's not even get into Holland, for example.
I think he's a bit more dynamic than Jesus, actually. But Jesus is more...
Jesus is better dribbler.
But we're not. I don't think Jesus is a better dribbler.
Yeah, he is. Like, numbers back it up.
More aggressive dribbler. He's just a better athlete. So, for example, like that Madrid game when he played on the left, he can just.
You know that I was saying this way before Jesus played against Madrid, right?
Yeah, I don't agree with that opinion though. I don't agree that Jesus is some special dribbler or anything. I just think
I'm not saying that he's a special dribbler.
Better spaces. I think Lautaro keeps the ball alive better than Jesus. I think Jesus would lose the ball much.
Yeah, I give you that. Lautaro is better at recycling possession, holding it tighter. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Is Jesus R9? Like, what do you mean by better dribbler? I'm not gonna give either of them the ball and tell them, listen, take the ball.
Well, if you need to beat the player, I give Jesus more chances to beat him.
Jesus is more agile. I can understand why you can say Jesus is better. Like I can understand that, especially Champions League night.
Look, Jesus is horrible finisher, right? He's a horrible finisher. That's the truth. But the amount of chances he gets at the end of will make up for that. Like Cavani, for example, right? Cavani was never a special finisher, but the amount of chances that Cavani could generate gave him the goals. Gave the
But by
team
the
the
way, if you think Jesus is better or vice versa, I don't have a problem with that. What I'm trying to say is we're not comparing
No, no,
Batistuta
no, no,
and
no.
R9
No,
here.
no. I
We're
just brought
comparing
Jesus
two
in the
very good.
conversation
Yeah,
because they were on the same mold, right? 23
yeah, I
came
agree.
3 years ago. You know what I mean, right? That was
Yeah.
my
Yeah,
whole
but you
point.
can't compare their numbers. Also, I agree. Jesus is obviously he gets on the end of more chances,
Yeah,
but
he
also
plays for
Jesus plays in
City,
a
obviously. Yeah, yeah,
exactly.
yeah.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But naturally, as a player, you can tell that Jesus takes more shots, like takes more risks when it comes at taking a shot at the goal. Because, for example, like look at Haaland numbers, Mbappe, all of these efficient goal scorers, like consistent goal scorers, take over 4 shots per 90 minutes. Right? That is double of what Lautaro does.
Lautaro is
Even
not that type
Lukaku
of
does
player at
that.
all, though. I don't look at Lautaro like that. Though. I don't look at him as a
Yeah.
guy that will be like a. That's the thing. Like, do not compare him to a guy like Haaland at all. I don't think he'll ever be a 40, 30 goal scorer. I just think Lautaro, like for example, I'll tell you this. Look at Barca's team. I think a guy like Lautaro would be perfect for this Barca team. Why?
But I
Because
don't.
Barca
Because I
already
don't
have
see the need of him.
Barca. I'll tell you. Barca already have lots of different attacking players that can all score a goal, right? So they don't need a number 9 that will score 40. They just need a number 9 with hold up play, with aerial ability, that can press, you know what I mean? That is good at
Yeah.
everything. And just to complete that front four, just to complete that 4-2-3-1, they don't need a Holland. They don't. They already have lots of attacking players. That
Why
guy can
wouldn't
score
they
50.
need a
That guy.
Holland? You want a number 9 that keeps defenders busy. Lautaro doesn't do that.
No,
Not
no. They're
consistently.
not. They're not. No, Lautaro does keep them busy. Lautaro is very active. I don't know what player you're watching.
Yeah,
Lautaro is a
he's
dog.
active.
He chases the game for 90 minutes, no matter how bad he's playing. He's got that dog in him. I don't
No,
know
no, no. But the thing is
where he
that
got
when I
that
look
from.
at somebody like Luis Suarez, right? He's always on defenders' shoulders. Always. I don't see Lautaro doing that. I just don't.
I think Lautaro does that.
That's more
amount,
based
and
on the
he'll only
system.
get
That's
better.
more on the system because Conte wants him to
But
hold
for
the ball up.
Argentina, like let's say there, like
Didn't he like? I don't watch much South American football, but didn't he have a good stretch, like a good run with the national team?
people were just hyping up average performances because that's all they were getting. He wasn't that good. Like I watched all of those games.
No,
That's
he wasn't
fair.
bad either, though. He was one of their
No,
better.
no, I'm not saying he wasn't bad.
But like
But the
Inter
way how
overall,
people
what do you
were
guys
talking
think?
about him,
He was
right?
literally a top 3 Argentina player in the Copa with what's his face, Paredes, and the only players that stood out were pretty much Lautaro, Paredes, and that's it pretty much for
No,
Argentina in that
Rodrigo de
Copa.
Paul was better than both.
Or Rodrigo de Paul was also good, yeah, but that's
Yeah,
about
yeah,
it.
he's their
One
best
of their better
midfielder,
players.
but
Yeah, that's for sure. But the thing is that Argentina, right? They are in a weird mold. I get that. And I do not expect him to turn up Argentina and make a complete difference when well-established strikers like Higuain and Aguero couldn't really do it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it would be unfair of me to expect that from Lautaro. But my problem is the hype that Copa generated in comparison to his performances. Like, for example, would you say that João Felix and Lautaro Martinez are kind of on the same mold? Kinda.
No way, Joao is a different level.
Zhao, for me personally, Zhao's a pure number 10 to me.
Like, bro,
He's a pure number
that's
10
the
with
thing.
a goal scoring instinct.
I
Like,
think
but he's a pure number 10.
Locante's missing how we view Lautaro. We don't look at Lautaro as the next, I don't know, like even Dybala. Like, bro, I just look at
I'm not
Lautaro as a
talking
guy
directly to you
that
two here.
I think
Just the general consensus was
give
that this
Lautaro-
guy can win a Ballon d'Or at one point.
Oh no.
Like
Yeah,
a year.
no. He's not like a Ballon d'Or
so you
talent.
just spent
Hey,
15 minutes.
remember when he wasn't playing for Inter when he joined? Do you guys remember when he wasn't, because he just joined, right? Adaptation time and everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
People who had watched South American football and such, everybody was like, "Oh, you have a Ballon d'Or level talent on your team, and you're not using him." Right? That is where this team comes from for me. That's where I heard about him to begin with.
Yeah, I did not see that, to be honest with you. But there is no way we're looking at him that way. If you're looking at him that way, then yeah, I understand why you think he's so overrated.
But we are talking about a player solving Barcelona issues here.
I see a player that will eventually just give him a year, 2, 3 max. He'll be a top 5 striker. Is he ever going to be the best striker? No.
Top 5
I think he's
striker.
gonna, I think he's gonna be
That's
a
a
top 5
very
striker.
high ceiling.
Yeah, that's given today's football. I don't think that's a very high ceiling, honestly.
It's
Like
still
today's football,
top 5 striker because you don't know
it's
what's gonna come.
by far the worst era I've ever
Yeah,
seen.
about strikers, yeah. But can he be a number 9? That is my only question. Like, I take him off Inter, right? I put him in Manchester United. I think they would be like the best team to use this. I put him in Manchester United's team. Does he lead that front line?
No, stylistically, it's way like
Their transition.
Yeah, it's way different.
The same. It's just a different kind of. That's the thing. That's why I told you he's not.
What about
be the best
Liverpool?
striker in the world. I told you he's not going to be the best striker in the world. That works in every.
I think.
That's why
I think he would be good at Liverpool.
I mean, he'd be better.
I think
than
it would be good. He'd be better. Yeah. I mean, but like English for the English game, I don't know. Maybe like he's more suited to Spanish style, and but if he were to play for an English team, I think Liverpool would suit him.
Yeah, I just don't understand what's so. I don't understand what's so crazy about saying that at his peak he'll be a top 5 striker. We're not saying he's gonna be a Ballon d'Or winner. We're not saying he's gonna be the best striker in the world. We're just saying at his peak he can be a top 5 striker.
I'm just never that impressed by him. Every time I watch him, I'm like, good, but.
But honestly, I think Inter squad-wise, this is the best squad. They've just missed so many players. No.
In general, like for the last 2 years, right? Let's even remove this season. I know that he's having a bad start of the season. That's pretty normal. I'm not saying that. Even last season, I just didn't think he was that good.
That's fair. Let's see what he does. Let's see what he does.
No. It's completely fine, and I could be completely wrong here. You know what I mean? I'm just talking. It's my own observation here. Like, what I like on a footballer, I just don't find it on him. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, not my kind of player. Not somebody that I would want him at my team, for example. I would rather look at, like, Jadon Sancho is another player, right? For my team, for example. I would never want him at Real Madrid.
I kind of agree.
You know what I mean? It's not that Sancho is a bad player. It's about stylistically, I don't see Sancho being part of Real Madrid. Unless there is a complete overhaul.
No, honestly, to be honest, I don't think Sancho's that level. Unless Real Madrid standards.
That's what I was trying to get to.
Unless the standards are lower. But in terms of if you're trying to think of a Real Madrid level attacker, that standard, I don't think he's that level.
Yeah, but how many are?
He's a quality wide playmaker.
Okay, there is another thing that I want to talk about. That is where me and Abdul and those guys have disagreed a lot on group chat. 2 players, actually. 1, Riyad Mahrez, and 2, Mauro Icardi.
Okay.
I don't rate both of them as much as the people seem to. Icardi, not so much right now, but in general, what do you guys think of them to begin with?
Well, Mauro Icardi, I mean, he's a traditional number 9, fox in the box. I mean, that's the thing. Like, he outside of the box, he doesn't do much, but like inside of the box, he just has that killer instinct in him. Like, he'll Cruyff turn you. Like, he'll find little crevices of space and just get his shot away. Like, that's what he was at Inter. At his best. And if you give this man one chance, one goal, he's gonna score. Like, but since he came to us, like the first 6 months, he was amazing. Like, he was working for the team, but like
his numbers weren't good though, even on the first 6 months.
No, like his numbers weren't good. Well, actually, didn't he score 20 goals? I'm sure he scored 20 goals last season.
Yeah, something like that. But I mean, like when you are looking at the underlying numbers, right?
The underlying numbers.
Scoring them. You know how he's scoring them.
They were mostly tap-ins.
Yeah, they didn't look sustainable.
One touch finishes, but that's what he does. That's what he does.
Yeah. You can't take that away from Icardi. That's what he does, literally.
Yeah, I get that. But at top level, like highest level, where PSG competed last season in the Champions League, that is where he fell short. right?
He didn't have the activity. He didn't show the activity needed to play in the front
like
because
the performance against Real Madrid, like 2-2 at Bernabeu,
yeah,
right?
it's terrible. He was terrible.
That is where I was like, oh, this guy isn't gonna cut it. You know what I mean? I was like, I don't think I've ever seen a striker get bullied like that.
That's the thing, though. But in the return fixture, like he's holding off Varane to play the ball into the the fullbacks that are running on beyond him, to play it onto players that are running on beyond him. Like, I mean,
But who disagrees with Icardi? I don't think anyone.
he just needs to find
disagrees.
that fire again, man. It's
But
a
we
mental.
don't disagree with Locante though. No one disagreed with you. Like I don't think anyone thinks Icardi's a Champions League level winning striker.
No. I was told on that group chat that Icardi would bench Benzema.
Look, okay, that's he wouldn't do that.
I was told that.
Who
Like I
said-
remember that, and I saw that. Not just Icardi, Cavani too. And we are talking for last season here. Last season, Cavani and Icardi would bench Benzema last season. This is what I was told. Not by you.
How can they bench arguably Real Madrid's best player?
Not by you. I said not by you. But I was told on that conversation that both
Last
of them
season-
would bench Benzema.
At their levels last season, no, they wouldn't.
Yeah, exactly. Right. We are talking about like it was January, I think, somewhere like that, and Benzema was having kind of that dip that he had. And everyone was like, if Real Madrid signed Icardi or Cavani, they would both bench Benzema and die.
Yeah,
right?
but wait, if a player, 1 second though, I think what people meant is if Real Madrid had a better backup striker, that player would play right now and give Benzema.
But you would say Jovic, not Benzema. You would say if Real Madrid had Icardi instead of Jovic, then Benzema wouldn't play right now. That is fair.
Yeah,
But
yeah.
I was strictly told Real Madrid gets rid of Benzema, brings one of these two guys in, and they're better. Like, this is what I was told.
Yeah, I mean, there is people, bro, especially Madrid fans. I mean, there's Madrid fans that wake up every day to curse Benzema and, glorify.
Yeah. But you know,
Yeah,
it's
I mean, but let's not turn this into Benzema,
yeah, Benzema is kind of controversial thing to even talk about because somebody rates him way too highly, somebody doesn't rate him at all. It's weird. But let's move on from Icardi, right? Good striker. I always said
Icardi,
that.
good striker. But you guys, I don't know. Like, you guys are saying that Icardi can't, he can't be a Champions League.
I don't think he can play
it's
the Champions League winning team.
Firmino, really? Look at the other strikers. It's not like they're great strikers that are winning the Champions. I think you can win with any style. You can win with any style.
Firmino complements Liverpool and the way they play more. I mean, Icardi just doesn't have the off-the-ball work load because you already have Mbappe doesn't defend, and Neymar is, he's still Neymar. I know Neymar tries his hardest to defend, but Icardi he's not mobile enough, to press it. Firmino has that. That's why I don't see Icardi fitting that team that well. One thing I'll say about Icardi, and because he's been getting slandered a lot lately and stuff, and he deserves his
6
criticism.
touches in a game.
But
6 touches in 70 minutes.
He's that type of player.
It's ridiculous. But that's
like
that's
6
that's
touches,
that's
and
his
2
game.
of them were from kickoff.
I'll say one thing about him, though.
Do you know how horrible that is?
Yeah, it's horrific, obviously. But I'm not surprised, though. That's what I'm saying. But let me say one thing about Icardi. Anyone that watched Inter during the Banter era or whatever knows that Icardi is arguably the main reason Inter are a Champions League team again. He used to score 20... One second, let me finish. He used to score 20-plus goals in literally the most rigid, boring... uninspiring attack in Europe, probably. Inter for years.
Guess who has done that too? Christian Stuani.
Sorry?
Christian Stuani has done that too.
Yeah, I'm just I don't know what that has to do with Icardi scoring 20 plus goals.
Well, it has to do because there's a team tailored completely around him. He's not gonna get that at a big team.
To get one chance a game. I'm not kidding. Icardi used to go years playing for a team that he used to get 2 chances a game and used to score at least one of them.
Icardi used to be a lot better. I give you that. 2 seasons ago, before the fallout with Inter, he was really good. That season, especially. That
But
season,
you don't like
he was really
listen,
good.
you don't like his profile. And I don't by the way, I don't like his profile either. Like I don't think he's a player. Like I don't think he's good enough to play for the best of the best, right? I agree with you. I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm just saying
Mm,
I think what he did at Inter was impressive, honestly.
Yeah, I give him that. Yeah, for
Yeah.
sure.
Wait, so who do you guys think are winning? Who are your predictions to win Serie A, La Liga, and the Prem? Like,
Juventus, Real Madrid, City, and what else was there?
we're winning ours. Oh yeah, like, man, let me just talk about PSG Nation, man, real quick, man. Like, I need to address this club, man, because this club, like, the management of this club is pitiful. Like, it's just a recurring cycle of just bullshit and bullshit in this fucking club, man. Like, I'm just sick and tired of it. Because, like, I look at Leonardo, I look at Tuchel, like, and there's no point in just like, because that's the thing in PSG Twitter, you know, they either side with one or the other, Leonardo or Tuchel. Like, it's kind of a joke right now. It's
No
become
middle ground.
yeah, no middle ground. It's become a joke, and like, I don't know. Like, the thing is, like, Leonardo, he came in. Tuchel wanted a replacement for Thiago Silva, who's arguably been the best center back in England this season, and he wanted Tuchel wanted Thiago Silva, and then we replaced him with Danilo Pereira. Have you seen that? That man moves like a tractor. Did you see him yesterday?
Oh my God.
Like, man, we're like, this club is done for. Like, and that's the thing too. I like Tuchel because, like, the first half when he first came in, like, he had like an idea to create this.
He's a good coach. That's for sure.
He's a good coach, but he had an idea, and he's fallen down the Emery route where he can't impose his ideas. Like, originally, he wanted to create this dynamic team where you have
pretty much.
Yeah, like a dynamic team where you have a bunch of defenders who can compensate for Neymar and Mbappe. And Neymar and Mbappe, they're going to carry you into the promised land. And now, like, I mean, everyone deserves blame, not just like Neymar and Mbappe. They deserve blame too. I don't give a like August 23rd, that game against Bayern Munich, you have to win it. You have to win it. Like, that's what you were bought for.
Have the chances to. Have the chances.
You have the chances. You have to win. Like, that's what you were fucking bought for. Like,
I think Tuchel did a good job on that final. Tactically speaking, I don't think he could have done much more.
No, Tuchel in the final eight, he did fine, but, like, at the end of the day, he was coaching scared. He put his team in, like, for example, against Atalanta, you play Idrissa Gueye and Ander Herrera up against Atalanta and Marquinhos. It's like a trivote. It's what Mourinho was doing at Real Madrid, right? Where he would play Lassana Diarra and Khedira and Xabi Alonso, all three of them together. Or Pepe. He would play Pepe, Lassana Diarra,
against Barca.
Xabi Alonso.
Yeah,
like a pure trivote. Like, this is what Tuchel has gone to. Like, he thinks this is what is going to win him games. But then you look at the numbers in UEFA. The UEFA numbers came out in the Champions League. Of all the 32 teams that competed in the Champions League, PSG ran the least. They were dead last in distance covered. And we still made the final, but we were dead last in distance covered. And you bought these players to compensate for it, and they can't even do.
I think Icardi plays a huge part in that.
You think what? Icardi what?
Mbappe doesn't defend.
Plays a huge part in that.
I don't think it's Icardi.
It's Icardi and Mbappe.
It's Mbappe against Manchester United ran 7 kilometers.
Really?
Dead ass.
Really? That low?
Like, Madridista Nation. I mean, like, once y'all get him, like, that's what y'all need to get used to, okay? Because this man does not have a defensive bone in his body. Like, he doesn't press.
You can see that, but 7? That is Messi against Atleti level.
It's that bad.
When Messi was fat.
You want to know what's so funny, though? 2 games prior, like 2 days before that game, he had just come off of international break with France. We have a game 48 hours later away to Nantes. Or was it Nantes? I can't remember. Like, it was one of those teams. I think, but, like, we had an away game, basically. And this man pretty much bullies Tuchel into playing, saying, I got to play. Like, bro, why the fuck do you want a stat pad when we have Manchester United the following week? Like this is the kind of this is the mentality of these players these days. They all just care about their stats. That's not what Messi and Ronaldo not Messi but Ronaldo almost he might have ruined this. Like everyone wants to put up numbers, man. Like it's like that's not what the game's like.
Ronaldo played a huge part into creating this mentality that you have to score every single game in order to keep up, and you have to play every single game. That used to be the case at least with Zidane. So there's also this line with Zidane and Mbappe. You know what I mean? If Zidane was able to control Ronaldo, there is hope that he's going to control Mbappe too.
But he's not. He's definitely going to give Mbappe zero. He's not going to give him any. Like Mbappe with France, Deschamps doesn't make him defend.
Yeah. I have noticed that. But there is Griezmann compensating, and there is Conte compensating. There are a lot of players that compensate for that, though.
Yeah.
And it's I don't know, like Mbappe to Real Madrid.
I like Mbappe. I just don't think he's that level of talent where he shouldn't have defensive.
He's too young for that.
I just think he's
too young for that.
Yeah,
he's also too young. Like when you're young, you gotta come on. Like you're not 28 coming off winning a Ballon d'Or. Why you should press? You should have.
I think that maybe
minimum level of effort off ball.
Maybe there needs. I don't know. Is there anything bad that hasn't happened to Mbappe? To be honest, knocked out by Rashford, losing a Champions League final. It's weird how he's not responding.
PSG fans, they kind of hate him. I'm not gonna front, bro. We hate this. They hate him, man. Bro, he cost us, man. He cost us that Champions League. He's got
that Champions League. Yeah, him and Neymar were awful.
Man, Neymar. Look, Neymar. For me personally, I know you guys will say I'm overreacting, but I think Neymar, just as a pure footballing talent, is up there. He sits at the same table with Messi, and he's the best Brazil's had since Pele. I'm not even kidding. I think in terms of the full dimensions of what this man can do, from technical skill to just his mentality on the pitch, his instincts.
Can I talk something about the mentality though?
This is what I'll say.
Can I just say this, and then you can just clear me if I'm wrong. I don't know if he does that way too often. And I think, and against Bayern, Neymar was consistently rushing the ball.
Yeah.
Consistently rushing the ball. And that is not a good look. Because you're the leader, they're expecting out of you. You have to calm things down, calm your team down, and then go from there. I don't think that PSG didn't stand a chance of scoring against Bayern. I blame Neymar a lot for the last 20 minutes because he was consistently rushing the ball. He was just too scared to lose, if you know what I mean. That vibe.
United, 3 weeks ago, Neymar started off on fire. Every time he got the ball, he was just beating players, right? But every time he would overdo it. And I was like, why? You already beat two guys. Just let go of the ball and let that attack, play. Just let that attack naturally, develop. But he would just beat two guys, try to beat the third guy, or try to make a pass that's just too aggressive. And then
it's a gift, a curse. It's a gift and a curse. That's the
I love Neymar. I absolutely love him. As a player, I love him. But this is just a big issue for me that I saw with him, especially recently.
In the Champions League final, I totally agree. He completely lost his head.
You just shouldn't, right? As a leader, remember all the news that were coming out about Neymar, how calm he is before the game, how he is inspiring.
You want to know what really happened? What really happened is the chatter before the game, where they're saying that Mbappe and Neymar, they're not going to defend, so Bayern are going to have the liberty to just keep the ball the whole game. And Neymar, in those first 30-40 minutes, he's stupidly pressed. He's not supposed to press like that on his own.
Yeah, breaking the shape. Yeah, breaking
Exactly.
the
Like
shape of the team.
he pressed way too much, and like because of that, like he didn't have the legs for those last 20 minutes. That's why he was kind of rushing. Like body, like the body and the mind couldn't meet at that point, pretty much. So
Yeah, yeah. But
that's
that was just a theme that I saw over the two games, and I was like, this is not really a good look. You know what I mean? Because as a player, I don't think there is anybody better than Neymar right now. Like, I don't think anybody can even chat to him right now.
I just think he's just man, like all
He's
dimensions.
way too good.
Like he's just like he's the perfect player. Like I just think in terms of like as a player, the only thing he needs to improve on is just like not like improve, but like just to be more efficient in terms of like his finishing. Because
Another question that I have for you, like PSG without one of Neymar or Mbappe have looked really worse, at least from my viewing of it. Right when one of them is missing, they complement each other quite well on a pitch in terms of the way how PSG attacks.
I kind of disagree in a sense because I feel like against a settled shape, Neymar and Mbappe, against a settled shape, like what you want to do is you want to get them in space because Mbappe is good in tight spaces, but he's not great in tight spaces, if that makes sense. Like so
I get it.
you can find ways to like, cut off
You can limit.
Yeah. And so it literally like our team looks like it's 2v8 in certain phases of play. Like you can't do that. Like, having 2v8 players, like it's not sustainable.
Yeah, but there was one game this season, I'm not sure which one, where Mbappe came off bench and just suddenly everything clicked for PSG. I don't remember
that
which
was
one.
the
It was very early.
Atalanta, right? Or
Yeah, no. It was that season ended when the season started for PSG. I think their first game or something like that. I'm not sure which game, right? It's been some months now since that match. But Neymar was doing everything, like everything possible on pitch. Just PSG didn't have that edge. You know what I mean? Mbappe comes on, and
That's
there
true.
you go.
I mean, imagine bringing on a player like Mbappe off the
Yeah,
bench.
yeah, but the thing is that they seem to function extremely well together, the way how they move, right? They are very synchronized with one another.
yeah, but I think in a 4-3-3 though, I don't like it because I don't know because I feel like Di Maria,
They
for
are too
example.
far apart.
No, like I feel like they're too close and they attract the whole defense, and then the right side, like there's no way because we only build through the left, right? If you're only building through the left channel, you become predictable,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
And you
We
become
Real
easy to
Madrid
shut
can
down.
relate. Real Madrid
Yeah.
can relate for that.
Madrid.
Exactly. So
No,
yeah, man.
what Ardit is saying, I mean, it makes sense. I mean, from the very first moment PSG signed them, it should work. You got a player that, both of them can play without the ball, but obviously Neymar loves it to feet more, and they both can play on ball as well. But Mbappe loves to exploit.
Their strengths
Obviously,
complement one another. You know what I mean? Like
Yeah, they
Mbappe is
complement.
best when he's beating a defender for the ball, right? Neymar is best when he has the ball against the defender. That's how I see it.
It's exactly why Hazard and Mbappe would be great too.
Yeah, exactly why I want Mbappe, Hazard, and Benzema to at least have a season at Real Madrid. You know what I mean?
Exactly. Yeah.
But there is also the thing, just like Tosin said about Mbappe's defensive work rate. Like, what is that going to do to Real Madrid's shape?
With Hazard as well.
Yeah, I mean, Hazard tracks back, to be honest. But
he tries, but
awful at it.
No
awful, because he's never had to do it before Real Madrid.
Exactly.
Like, never.
You're
not with Belgium, not with Chelsea.
That don't do that, right? So it's
obviously...
It's going to be similar to when, if you remember at times when we fielded Ronaldo and Bale, and both of them would do nothing defensively. Literally, both Ronaldo and Bale would do nothing, and even Benzema. Like I remember, there were certain games, like that's why, like low key, Ancelotti preferred when Bale wasn't fit at times.
Low key, high key.
Exactly, high key, yeah. So yeah, like it could be something like that where I
There's
remember
no
like the
balance,
midfielders
yeah,
just
with
defend
that.
with
Yeah, it's all about, for example, but
No,
Benzema's
but
age.
that's literally what happened with Emery in our first season. We tried to force this, our own version of MSN, Mbappe, Cavani, Neymar, and all the games like it's
At least
7-0.
Cavani works hard of the ball.
Cavani works
Like
hard. Yeah, he does.
he's
But like
aggressive. He's
we had
aggressive.
he is, but like the problem is we had our midfield line and our forward attack. It was like 30 meters of space between them. It's
Yeah,
like
Real Madrid faced that.
seven
Definitely.
7-0-3. Like you
Yeah,
can't. It's not sustainable, right? So
yeah. Real Madrid faced that too, where there were acres of spaces between the forward line, midfield line, and defense line.
yeah.
Yeah. The thing is that, for example, Hazard has played like with Conte in a two-man attack, right? With Morata, Giroud, whatever. That would be interesting. Like if you can provide enough cover through the wings, like Conte would do with Chelsea, I wonder if that works. And you give these two like a freedom of doing things on their own.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Um, like every Chelsea coach, what they have done with Hazard has been put him as false nine, number 10, whatever, just to get him from off those wide areas where they can put a more stable defensive player there. You know what I mean?
I see what you're saying, but like, do you want to get cut open through the middle or you want to get cut open through the sides? Like personally,
Yeah, but the thing is that football
Hazard
still,
can't play. Hazard cannot play through the middle, in my opinion. Like he has to play more through the wing. Like and that's the thing. Benzema sometimes gravitates towards there. You have Marcelo, and sometimes Hazard can't play 1v1. You need to put him in more 1v1 situations.
yeah,
over
you
on the
need
flank.
you need to get him in chances to beat the defenders more often. Yeah. I agree with that. It's all players like Hazard, Neymar, Messi. Things that make them special is when you are under pressure, right?
Yeah.
You are under high press.
Hazard ain't on that level though with Neymar and Messi. No disrespect to him, but
No, I think he is. In terms of holding the ball up, earning you a foul, calming the game down, I think he is.
but that je ne sais quoi, that fucking final pass, that
No,
creativity,
yeah. That yes.
he
That
doesn't
yes.
have that.
But I mean that if my team is under pressure, like you look at that one player where you're gonna pass the ball to him, right?
Yeah.
And you're gonna be more like relieved. And I think he is that. You get me, right?
Yeah.
Like if I was under pressure, team was under heavy pressure, and we
You give the
needed to
ball.
move the ball, you give it the ball to him because
And
you
he
know
does
he's
the
gonna
same.
move it.
Advance it,
Yeah.
or he'll advance it or draw a foul.
Yeah, exactly, right? He's gonna protect the possession. You're
Yeah.
not gonna be counter-pressed, and you're not gonna be caught on transition. There are a lot of positives that come with players like this. But when it comes to playing a through ball and such, yeah, Messi and Neymar are definitely a level above.
I think João Felix is on that plane where he can
Yeah,
establish himself.
he's moving there. He's moving there.
as
Yeah,
the best
Joao is
player.
incredible. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I think the best compliment you can give Joao is I'm noticing lots of people tuning into Atleti games this season just to watch him.
Just to watch him,
if
yeah.
you're
He's been
able
so good this season. Like from the first game, all of his matches have been fantastic.
if
Like
you're
all
able
of
to draw people to Atleti games, I mean, you have to be something special. And when you look at his contract and the details in that contract, he has a 360 million release clause, and
Yeah.
it's a 7-year contract. So I mean, if someone's gonna want him, if he's gonna move, it's going to be
200 million at the very least.
unbelievable fee. And Atleti flipped him for Griezmann. So honestly, like, and that's what I was saying back then, a year ago, when everyone was calling him a flop. I was saying, no, it's a great deal. And yeah, I
No,
think
it was a good deal. Yeah, that's for sure. I mean, I think they overpaid a little bit.
given-
Atleti
yeah, like given
at that
obviously-
time.
yeah, I agree.
Honestly, based on the
It's
fact that they got a 7-year contract, like
Exactly.
the amortization laws between that, and then the fact that you have 350 million, like bro, like I think it was just right, honestly.
If it wasn't a 7-year contract and that release clause, then I would say that fee is a bit too much, even though he's Ballon d'Or level for me. But given that fee and that stuff, yeah, it's a great.
Yeah, Joao is a Ballon d'Or level. Yeah, that's for sure. He
Yeah.
can get up there and reach that level. He's really good. So I think we should talk about this too since we got here. Atleti against Barca this weekend. Joao against Messi. Is that a thing now?
It should be, yeah.
Really? I mean, come on. Like, I mean, that's the thing though. Like, looking at this game, I just don't see, with it being straight off of international break, I don't think it'll be like a high level game that you guys.
Barca Atleti never is. Barca
Yeah.
Atleti never is. It's always a disappointment match.
And when has Simeone ever beaten Barca in the league? Has that ever
Never.
happened? Never. Okay, so
Nope, zero.
It's gonna be a 4-4-2 against 4-4-2 mid block. Players
But
kind of
does Barca have the players for 4-4-2? I guess, yeah.
defensively, yeah.
Teams will cancel each other out, and I think it will probably be a draw, right? But if a team is gonna win, it's gonna be down.
I love how predictable that picture
Yeah,
is.
it's gonna be down to individual brilliance. Maybe Joao, maybe Suarez, maybe Messi, maybe Dembele or something, and that's it.
It would be
I think-
funny if Suarez is the one to give Simeone his first win over Barcelona in La Liga. It
Oh,
would be
yeah,
funny.
Suarez will definitely have a chip on his shoulder for that.
Exactly.
No. Suarez is scoring that game, like 100%.
I agree. Yeah. I think I agree.
Like, you know that feeling Abdul can relate. You know when we play an ex player that is a striker, like let it be Joselu
What he
or
has,
anybody.
So, yeah, all these
You
guys.
know, you just know they're gonna score, and they do.
Right. So
That is the feeling that Suarez to Barca gives. You know, you just know that he's scoring there, and I think it's celebrating.
if one of them wins, it's a huge result. But I see a draw. If one of them wins, it would be a huge.
I mean, if
Yeah,
they draw and Real Madrid wins, unlikely at this point, it's good for Real Madrid, right?
yeah, of course, yeah.
Yeah, Real Madrid can benefit from that. It's so weird. Real Sociedad is running away with the league at this point. They're so good, though. If anybody has watched them,
I haven't really watched. Yeah, I haven't watched La
they're
Liga.
really good. They're really good.
Wait,
like,
wait.
Lateral has been really good.
I just hope. I think they're gonna make some noise in the Europa League. Hopefully, if they don't get too many injuries. And
Yeah, addition of David Silva, brilliant.
yeah.
He hasn't been standout performer, right? He hasn't been like Martin Odegaard was last year, but that experience, consistent level of play, you know what I mean? Like
Wait,
it
which
doesn't
player?
fit
Which player?
David Silva.
Oh, David Silva. Okay.
You know,
gives you a 7 out of 10, and it's exactly.
yeah, exactly, right? But his experience and everything, he makes a difference to that midfield, and that's for sure. But Mikel Merino is the MVP.
Yeah.
Damn, Mikel Merino. I remember watching him at Dortmund. I just thought he was a basic player. Now he looks like
Newcastle too, really bad.
Yeah, and like he's coming leaps and bounds. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
he turned his career around. Like he's become a starter for Spain. That is a huge thing. He's been starting for like 3 games in a row now.
Yeah, I heard he was even really good.
Yeah, he's good. Like he's a consistent performer, very good. He's playing at very high level. I think he's a nice player. That's for sure. And probably it's time for him to go to a bigger club.
I don't think he makes Spain's best 11 though.
Yeah, he
I
should.
think he does.
No, Spain.
Nah, you have Thiago. I think Thiago should be Thiago. You have Fabian, and then you have.
This is crazy to say. Just hear me out. Merino, Thiago, and Isco would be Spain's best midfield.
No, it wouldn't.
How-
Isco should
If
play.
Isco decides to become a footballer again.
I've been saying, listen, I said for years, I love Isco. Like, I've always wanted Isco to be that, that number 8 in a 3-man midfield. I've always been saying that. Even like when he was playing in the Diamond, I was like, listen, like Isco really should have been our number 8 after in a 3-man midfield. He should have taken played instead of Modric as when Modric was aging. But when you look at Isco now, he does not have the intensity or physical level to play there at all. Like I remember young Isco when we first signed him, he was so good defensively. I mean, he was like, you can just stick him into a 4-4-2. Remember when you played him against Bayern as a left midfielder, and he will track the flank all day, double up, help the fullback. nick balls in the middle,
Do you
intercept.
remember when he bust Pogba playing
Yeah,
as number 8?
against Barca, remember in that Classico, his work rate, unbelievable. But nowadays, it's honestly sad. He does not have the intensity.
Yeah, he probably physical decline,
I mean,
motivation
the club gave
levels.
him a lot, man, because like there was a time where like Abdul remembers, I used to call him like, one of the best tactical weapons. Like
Yeah.
he would come in, he would play a combination here, like he would play a combination on the right, on the left, and then he would
Even last
just
season.
recycle the ball, the technique, the dribbling, everything. Like Isco looked like he was gonna be like around that 2017 time, like he looked like he was gonna be like, I don't know, one of the best players in the world.
Yeah.
What's funny is that like his numbers are actually comparable too at that time up to De Bruyne.
Yeah, he was creating a lot. Yeah, that's for sure.
Yeah, like it's funny. Like
That's what a lack of ambition can do to you in football. Because from
Yeah.
day one, you could tell he's cool. Like,
Did you
one-
guys watch his Instagram video? It was so funny.
him, trying to
Show that he's working.
yeah.
yeah, or is it where he's talking about estoy gordo on Snapchat?
Yeah.
Talking about my fat and shit. Like, come on, G. Like,
Yeah, it's sad a little bit. I mean, all of this abuse maybe clicks on him, but very hard to see it by this point.
yeah.
It's too
But
late.
let's not forget this. Like in 2020, like before football stopped, Isco was Real Madrid's best player.
Yeah, but the
Yeah,
problem
man.
with Isco now is like it feels like, look, that's what he is. He's like for the rest of his career, he's just gonna be like the 12th, the 13th man, the 12th man in the squad. I mean, when you look at his ceiling and his potential, it's kind of sad though. He should have been much more, right?
Yeah. Isco felt like that Spanish crop was insane, right? The under 23s, I think, or under 21s that won
Yeah.
the World Cup or Euros.
Yeah.
Thiago, Isco, Koke, all of these guys, right? And Isco really looked like the jewel out of all of them, and Thiago was there too, right? Yeah, he has had a great career overall, right? Players would kill to have his career. Just
Definitely.
on individual level, he never accomplished what he should have. And as a matter of the fact is that Toni Kroos and Luka Modric were part of Real Madrid's midfield.
Yeah.
It also comes down to that. Like Modric, like at which point do you drop one of them for Isco? Throughout Real Madrid's three-peat and such. You know what I mean?
The year was 2018-19, and then
But Solari happened.
what happened that season? Messed up everything.
It's just that the circumstances around Isco in general haven't always been best. That's the truth.
Yeah.
But sometimes the thing is, he was never demanding, though. He was always comfortable, like playing for Madrid.
But I don't think so, though. Like when he came in,
There were lots of rumors always that he's gonna leave. But honestly, from what I heard, especially like people that are somewhat close to the club and whatever, they've always
He's comfortable, man. You're comfortable
Yeah,
at that point.
he's
So
comfortable. He's just happy he's in Madrid. He's happy he's playing for Real Madrid. He's getting paid, and that's it. He never wanted to leave Spain, take on another challenge, take on a bigger role. Like, as far as I understand, that was always the case. Even though,
yeah, it looks like that. At least from outside viewing, it looks like that. Yeah. But the thing is that this season, right? I think like only Jovic, Mariano, and those guys have played less than him. He was like out of 22 players, like third lowest in terms of minutes. If this doesn't push you to play, like somebody that loves you isn't playing you, and this doesn't push you to play, then you're done.
No, but if you look at the history, like Zidane has usually Isco doesn't play a lot at the start of seasons. That was always the case with.
Yeah, but Odegaard is part of the team now.
Oh yeah, Odegaard is what makes it complicated. But usually second half of the season, Zidane gives him his trust and he starts playing.
Yeah, and you know that Odegaard and everything that you read about him, this guy has Ronaldo's mentality. Like, this kid isn't somebody that is just gonna give up. Like, when you read what his ex-coaches say and how much he mentions Ronaldo and such, that determination, he has that.
Yeah.
And that is where things just don't work out for Isco this season. If he doesn't work his butt off.
Yeah. I mean, it remains to be seen with these players like Isco. I guess like players like all of Spanish football. When I look at Spanish football, no one really excites me like that. I mean, Isco was that at a point. Thiago. I mean, even Koke, like Xavi said, like Koke is supposed to be my heir. Like Koke used to have an incredible volume of play. Like at
But
his
he's still
peak.
very good, though.
One thing I'll say
Yeah.
about Koke, honestly, you guys know I've criticized him a lot last few years, like, and I've called him a nothing player at times. But this season, Koke has really impressed me, honestly.
But the thing is that Koke has suffered from injuries last 2 years. A lot of injuries. And Atleti are always way worse without them.
Yeah,
Like,
that's a
yeah,
fact.
maybe you can say, even for Koke, that same as Isco. Very good, very influential, but not the player he was supposed to be. I think it's fair to say that. He was supposed to be a better player than he is right now. But still very good. For Koke. Isco, not so much. So, okay, I want to finish this off. Tosin, if you could sign any player in the world for PSG, just one, who would you get?
Man. Right now?
Yeah,
Sheesh.
right now. Like, you see the team and you think that, yeah, there are holes, but if we get this player, then, yeah, probably he pushes us through that edge.
Okay, you have Verratti as your regista. What we're basically missing right now is a central midfield player. So large volume of game. I mean, I would look at honestly just any top level midfielder to
Wow.
partner Verratti with. I'm not kidding. Like,
You know what I expected? A right back?
look, I mean, we still like that's the thing. Like, we have players in our academy that like I feel like they can be up to it in a couple years from now. Right now, you have Florenzi as a stopgap option there.
Oh, Florenzi
Right?
signed.
Yeah,
I
and
completely
he's
forgot
like-
him.
Yeah, and Florenzi's a good player, Like, he gets cooked after 60 minutes. He can't play more than 60 minutes in a game, but I mean, he has a good footballing IQ and he just knows where to be. Like, he's a decent
Yeah. He comes from Italian schools of football, so that is something to get there. So interesting. A good midfielder to pair Verratti with.
Yeah.
Do you think that Verratti and Kante would be a good pairing?
Yeah, definitely. Pretty much
Like,
like
looking at
Verratti's usually best with like a tall midfielder beside him. So
Yeah.
like Marquinhos is an unbelievable player.
That is what
Like,
I was thinking. Like,
was
you
playing-
put Marquinhos, Verratti, and Kante on that midfield?
No, because you don't have anyone who's gonna project in that midfield. Like, who's gonna be like your final third midfielder there?
But the
You know?
thing is that you already have Di Maria, Mbappe, and Neymar,
Yeah,
and
see,
have to stick with that.
Di Maria's at the end. Like, Di Maria was our player of the season last year. I love
Not
Di
because
Maria,
this season?
but this season, like, you can tell he's towards the end of the road. Like, he's getting up there.
Yeah. Makes sense. Yeah. Makes sense. Because I haven't
No,
watched.
but like
this season.
my favorite midfield players right now, like I really love, like I love Camavinga, I love Fabian Ruiz, I love Manuel Locatelli, like just these are like different players. Like I'm telling you, like these are the under 25 central midfield players that are under the radar. Nobody talks about them because they play in obscure clubs like Napoli or Sassuolo or.
Yeah. Do you want me to give you another name? Stanislav Lobotka?
I watched him at Celta Vigo. I mean, he's good, but he's not.
He has regressed a lot, sadly.
Yeah.
His first season, immense.
He was great. Yeah.
I saw mini Modric in him, the way how Verratti, Modric, this mold of players, how they dribble.
Yeah.
And he was dribbling just like that. Like, I remember when he was playing against Real Madrid and he was playing our midfield out of park. And I was like, holy shit, this guy is so good. And I have rooted for him ever since. But
Yeah.
it just hasn't worked out. Like,
In Napoli,
he
he's
stayed
just
maybe
not. Yeah. In
at
Napoli, he's
Celta
not a
for too
star.
long. At Napoli, let's be honest, like, competition is fierce. Like, as you said, Fabian Ruiz, for example, for that role. Fabian is better, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You know, it's weird, but I still have a soft spot for him, and I can't seem to let it go. You know what I mean?
No, he's
Right?
no, he's a good
Except
player. He's a good
Except
player.
the fact that he's not gonna be the player I expected him to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, man, that feeling sucks, man. That's the worst feeling. Like where you put so much stocks into a player and he doesn't.
Yeah, that's how I am with Vinicius.
Ah, sheesh. Yeah.
You know,
That's
I
why
put so much on him, right? Like from the first minute with Manchester United when he did that skill
That's how I feel.
on the touchline, right?
Yeah.
And
isn't that how
the
you
way
feel about Pastore, Tosin?
That's how I feel about Pogba. That's how I feel about Pastore. Man, like Pastore should have been. He should have been like the reference point for number 10s in the world. Like after, like he's of that bloodline, like Riquelme, Ortega, all those players like that played in the post Maradona era for Argentina. Like he's of that bloodline. Like Pastore, he should have been special, man. Like just the quality he had. Like there was a time 2015 when he actually put on muscle. He said that was the first time he ever like actually put the right work in before a season, and he had like this physical dimension to his game where like you couldn't just get the ball off him, and he was just so confident on the ball. The shit he would do in like 5 yards of space is just unbelievable. And like that's the thing, like that's why I tell myself like of that caliber of player, those are the best type of midfielders. The midfielders that look like they can play all three levels, from DM to central midfield to attacking midfield. And Iniesta, Modric are the only players that I've seen that can like really do that. Because a lot of these midfielders today don't know how to play ahead of the ball. G, like they all just want to get the ball. Like you need to know how to play ahead of the
is
ball.
on that mold too. At least.
I mean, Bayern level maybe. Like right now, I don't see Cruz as like 3 level. Like you know how you know ball don't stop like Abdul, right?
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Where he's like
Three
talk
level
about three level scorers, like 3 level midfielders. G, like where are the 3 level midfielders? He's like
Nah,
you
Cruz-
weren't really there. Like
2012, like from when he was really young at Bayern to
yeah,
20,
before the ACL tear. Right.
yeah, he could play like that. Like I mean, he dominated the Champions League final as a number 10.
Yeah,
But like nowadays, he's just a deep player. Like you
I
can't
think
higher up the pitch, he'll keep the ball moving and stuff, but nothing exceptional.
honestly, man, the more I think about it, like maybe I'm going too far, but like Iniesta, Zidane, like motherfuckers used to hate on me because I used to hate on Zidane, and then I kind of flip flop back into showing reverence for the man. But like thinking about it, man, like I think Iniesta is the best midfielder to play this game. Like I was just watching footage, like this guy, like he's second to Messi in terms of just pirouetting on the ball, evading defenders so effortlessly. Like there's zero manhandling.
Just pure La Pausa and close control.
Yeah, zero
That's it.
manhandling, no stiff arm, just straight up La Pausa, straight up evasion. Like you don't understand. Like that's a different skill set where like it's a different skill set like where the ball where you have to play in like I don't know, like you have to play in like you have to beat 5 players in an area of like 10 yards just by keeping the ball on the ground. No flicks, nothing, like just it's so like it's just so complex, man. It's like next level. You have to think quicker than the next player. Like it's insane.
Abdul, remember Modric against Athletic Bilbao in 2013-14? Like first 2 games? Do you remember that match?
Wasn't that the game Ronaldo got sent off?
No, I think Ronaldo got sent off on the other match. I'm not
Are you
sure.
talking at home? At home, right?
Yeah,
Ronaldo
it was like second fixture
Not
after
me.
the Betis game or something like that. It was during day.
after
Is that the one where he does like the does like because I don't know, like
Where
there's
he's stuck near the touchline, right?
is it where he does like the little sombrero over the player?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly.
That was
Yeah.
Villarreal, bro. I think I'm pretty sure that was Villarreal, not Bilbao, if I'm not mistaken. But anyways, I remember that for sure.
You know, that was because you all the Modric story of the first season and everything, right?
Yeah,
That match, it was like holy shit, you know? Like this guy can do this. You know what I mean? Like he's translating that into Real Madrid. And when he mentioned Iniesta getting past players effortlessly, that is one game that I always remember Modric for, right? And Iniesta used to do that consistently.
yeah.
Like there's a game from 2012 against Madrid.
Oh, I know.
He's just
I know
Oh
which
my
one.
God.
I think it's at the Bernabeu. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, when we took the lead, right? When
Yeah.
Valdez did the mistake, and oh my Iniesta in that game, my
that
God,
like
I'll never forget.
the
I'll never forget. He did.
like that's just
Fabregas got the
advanced.
glory there.
It's advanced, man.
Yeah,
Yeah, what
people-
Iniesta used to do, like insane.
Yeah,
Also, the days when I used to celebrate that Busquets got injured.
oh yeah. Nowadays,
You know,
Man,
Fans are
fuck Busquets, man. Like he was so annoying back then. I used to
exactly,
hate him so
right?
much back
I
then.
just hated him because he was so annoying, but
But
so
then,
good.
like the older I grew, I was like, man, he's such a baller though. Like
Yeah, exactly, right?
just
And
start
it
to
was like,
appreciate.
I remember one match he got injured and Barcelona bottled it. Like that was kind of like one of the first few games where Busquets wasn't actually playing. And Barcelona bottled that game. And I was like, holy shit, let's give this a try. He missed the other game and Barca bottled again. And I was like, holy shit, I actually should pray for this more often. You know what? I never really understood his importance until that.
yeah.
At least that's how it hit me. Right? Barca are not the same without him.
Yeah.
And that used to be the case for so many years. But nowadays it's like, I kind of hope he plays.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think he's as bad as advertised today as people say, but I will say
I
this.
think he's having a horrible season. He was
He's
good
having a
last
horrible-
season, but he's having a horrible season. Horrible start, at least.
I will say this though, like what does like detract from him is like there are just so many high profile games where he's looked left out to, like that Conte game, Euro 2016
Yeah.
against Spain, like or those away games in the Champions League, like you can remember those games where, you know, Busquets was just manhandled all by himself in midfield, like, and that's part of that's on the club too, man. They just never put the right, you know, system around him and Messi as well. So
Yeah, I mean, there are just too many pieces where you have to build a system for such players. That's why I think Barca's squad is very dysfunctional and
it's
just
unbalanced.
needs a lot of work.
I know what you're saying, yeah. And that's the
You know-
thing, like there's so much debt too. Like what are they gonna do? Like
Yeah, you know what I mean? Like on defense, you want to protect Piqué. On midfield, you want to protect Busquets. On attack, you want to protect Messi. Right? There is just a lot going on. There are just too many players needing this sort of protection. It sort of
Yeah.
becomes like this Manchester United meme.
but that's the
of-
problem. That's the problem though. Yeah, to liberate Pogba and stuff. Like I know what you mean.
Yeah,
But
you know,
like-
it's like, oh, Manchester United are going to sign certain ex-player to unlock Pogba. Like, that guy isn't in jail.
But the
And,
problem is though, like at the end of the day, believe it or not, as of November 15th, 2020, as of today, like the best defender at Barca, Piqué, the best
Yeah.
midfielder at Barca, Busquets. Don't give me no Frankie bullshit. It's still Busquets, trust me. The best forward at Barca, Messi.
Yes.
They're still the best they got.
Yeah, exactly.
They're
But
the best they got. Like, I mean, at this point, they need to get signed better. Until they can sign better, or
yeah,
until players
that's the
step
thing,
up.
right?
Like,
That's the thing with Barca. They haven't
gonna keep going.
signed players smartly. It's just money on players rather than money on creating a good facility for these players to completely show what they got.